looking at this later on in your e-learning. I know that e-learnings currently is a bit of a teet because it's going down, server down, but hopefully by in the afternoon or anything, it will be better lah. Oops. Right. Okay. So what is finance? Okay. When we talk about finance, we always think about all these. Okay, I just need to do something first. When we talk about finance, we always talk about banking, and we talk about money, and we talk about all these monetary values and everything. Is other currency, is it dollars, or it's in ringgits, or in yen, or anything about it. So finance is actually art, okay, and science. It's both of the things. You need to think out of the box. You need to know the procedure of it, the technical parts of it, the creative parts of it in order to manage money. Either your own money or your company's money. Okay. When as a civil engineer, and as we are in civil engineering, I did not expect you to actually become the ones who are responsible to all of it, unless it is your own companies, or you are a small SME that are doing everything of it. However, knowing about financing, how to do this procedure, how to do financial management, not only for your companies per se, okay, for your own departments or anything, but also you can actually use whatever I teach you in class, in your own life, okay? Because I know for a fact that most of my lecturers during their feedbacks, they were saying that I don't exactly do financial in my company, doctor, but what you teach me, I do some investment decisions, I do some of my cash budgets decisions, I do some of my financing arts of it and everything, and it helped him in order to become a better person, a better family man and everything. And I do believe that in the end, that's the most important thing. If you can become a better person. Okay. So applications of the principle of financial economics to the interrelated sets of monetary problems. Okay, you have this set of money, you have such a lot of money, you get it maybe inheritance, or you get it from your mother, or you got it from father, or you got it from your sugar daddy, or who knows, right? And then you don't know what to do with it. Okay, it's considered as a problem as well. Not only that, if you don't have the money, but when you have a lot of money, what should you do with it? How can you make sure that the money stay with you and not going to overspend it in like one day, buying all the LV bags lah, buy Maserati lah, buy houses lah, buy Oakley lah, buy all that hooplas and everything, and then tomorrow got nothing to eat anymore. Okay, that's also become a problem. So process by which money is transferred among businesses, individuals, and government via financing and investing activities. Financing is most of the times is going out, and investing is financing is more like borrowing, and investing is more like you have money and you wanna do some investment decisions of it. Okay, so there are two types when we're talking about finance, which are financial services and financial management. So when we talk about financial services, it's a process by which a consumer, a person's or an individual or businesses or a governments acquire financial goods. Okay, financial goods here, either it's an attributes, meaning that it's the physical kind of things, or even in terms of financial equipment. Okay, we're going to see the financial equipment not in this week but next week, so be prepared for a very lengthy, technical, very kind of things next week. Okay, so lots of nuts, lots of chewing gums next week. Okay, and then we have financial management. So financial management is a financial manager duty in any companies. Just like what I mentioned previously, you have sometimes that you are going to be maybe it's a small SME, so you are also responsible towards the money in your companies. That's on you, though you should have to do it. Or you are the boss of the company, so you have to manage your own money. Okay, even individuals. Okay. So 3 basic questions for study of finance. The first one is what long-term investment should the firm undertake? Okay, so why we need to look at the long term of it? Because we want to sustain our company. So this will be answered in terms of capital budgeting. Okay, and then the second one, how should the firm or the companies or your organization raise money to pay for this investment? You need to do investment for your company to grow. Okay, not only to do because investment meanings here not only for like you are going to secondary bursa or you're doing some trading or anything. No, even for your own inventories in your own product, you need to do investment. Should you expand your company, that is considered of investment. Should you make another branches, or should you downsizing your companies, meaning that letting go some of your workers, that is your investment decision. Okay, so where or how can we learn about this is under capital structure. Okay, some of it might will be covered by my topics in my parts, and some will be covered by Dr. Izzy parts. And finally is how can the company or the industry or the firm or the organizations manage its cash flow. Now we're going from like an inverted triangles from the long term towards to the smaller parts of it, because we are not only looking at the far parts of it. You need to look at what you're going to do day by day. Okay, what is the cash flow? Cash means that it's going to be um, liquidified. Means that you have the paper money of it, or the saving inside your accounts, the ones that is already converted into cash, not in land, not in bonds, or not in shareholdings kind of papers. Okay, so cash flow in day-to-day operations, we're going to look at it in the working capital management. So this is 3 basic questions in the study of finance. Capital budgeting, capital means of your budgets, meaning that the capital or the money that you have to raise in order to start the investment. Capital structure is how you're going to organize everything. Remember that there are a few, previously they have a lots of how you're going to do your spending, how you're going to saving money is like 40 40 20 kind of rules for yourself, meaning 40 you spend, 40 is for your investment in terms of your insurance and everything, and 20% is for your saving. So that is a capital structure. I'm giving you some layman terms of it because we are still new in this. So capital structure is how you separate all the money that you have, all the assets that you have, in order to make sure that you can actually goes into the capital budgeting bank. And finally, you have money every day that's going in and out. Okay, buying lunch, buying dinner, buying maybe pay some bills and everything, that is day to day. So that is under working capital. Okay, so that is working capital management. Do you, until now, anyone have any question?
No questions, Doctor.
Yes, sayang.
No questions.
Oh, no question. All right. Okay. So if no questions, we'll go to the next one where I'm going to talk about what the content inside my own parts. Okay. Dr. Izzy will talk about her parts later on when she enter your class after the mid-semester break. Okay. Now, in my topic or in my parts, there will be 4 parts. The first one is the business organization, the yawning parts of it, where you're going to learn a lot of theoretical kind of things. So it's actually very important if you want to start a company, whether you want to be by yourself or you want to be by partners or you want to do a companies by your own, okay, or organizations of it. So in general, business are designed to focus on either generating profits or improving society. They are entrepreneurships and social socialpreneurships. I can't remember the exact words of it, but some is generate income for themselves and some generate income in order to make mankind a much more better places. Okay, just like what we are doing by smiling every day to everyone. Okay, so improving society. So there are actually a lots of different business organizations, but I'm going to touch on the other 3 parts of it: solo, um, partnerships, and also companies. Okay, owned and operated, and what's our advantages and disadvantages of each business entity. So we're going to do some activities in the classes as well. So if you are if you have this kind of company, should you go to here, should you go anywhere, we're going to inside breakout rooms and discuss about it later on. In the second parts of business organization, we are going also at financial institutions. Okay, we cannot live without banks. Okay, we cannot live without money. Money don't buy happiness, but it is much more better to cry inside a Mercedes than on a bicycle. So we need some safe place to put our money, some place to do our investment. So that is a financial institution. Okay, financial institutions like banking, like investment companies, like bursa saham. Bursa saham is the trading market. Okay, either the first trading market or the second trading market, and we also look at some of the financing instrument. Financing instrument is just like it's a fancy way of saying that okay, you have in terms of bonds, you have in terms of agreements, securities and everything. So that is in our next week classes. Okay, and then we have financial statement and ratio. So each, when you are doing transaction and everything, there are money in and money out. Okay, so this money in and money out, you need to make it documented, and in 1 year times, you're going to do an analysis or a report of it. Okay, so if you are doing it, we're not going to learn actually to do it that much, because that is actually for financial student, the pure one, but you are going to look at in terms of how to analyze or analysis based from the financial statements. There will be 3 types of financial statement, which are income statement, balance sheets, and also last is a cash flow or cash budget. Okay, we're going to see all 3 of it in the next week. This is week 2, then it's in week 3. Okay, and how you're going to read it up, how you're going to organize it back and everything. Okay, why we need to learn about that, why we need to become aware of how to do this financial statement, not to do, but how to read it, to be aware, to introduce yourself, is because we need, or you can do assessment on the firm, just like a uh, performance ratio, or you're comparing your companies, whether with your own companies in the past or with other companies, to see are we doing great this year, Or should we expand or should we downsizing and everything? So financial analysis, or what we call financial ratio, is important as well to do comparison. It's an assessment, just like when you are inside classes, I need to assess you. How good are your understanding for this topic? Which topic should I need to in order to increase, in order to make sure that you understand it more? So when you go out, you can become a better civil engineer or a better lecturers or a better humans as generals as possible. So the analysis is made based on the firm's financial statements. The principle or the tools that we're going to use is actually the financial ratio. So we are going to check the company financial health of it. It's considered as financial health because if it's sick, everybody is sick. If it's die, then the company will bankrupt. Next, that will be 2 weeks actually. 1 week will be in financial statement, another week in financial ratio. And then we have financial planning, another weeks of it. In financial plannings, we are going further. Okay, we're going to check from you have some things that you have already done in your current year, and you're going to forecast or foresee what you're planning for next year, or should you expand, should you downsizing, kind of things. So it become a very important tools to check for businesses to anticipate the economic trends and prepare either to benefit from it, just like some company can benefit during PKP, right? When during the pandemics, so some company really flourish, some company did not. So how can we become among the flourish kind of companies? They represent a blueprint of what firm propose to do in the future, especially in near future in the next year. And then we're going to look at cash budgeting forecasting. Okay, when financial planning, it's more on the 1 year kind of things. Forecasting, I truly believe, or cash budget forecasting, I truly think that it is more on how you manage a day by day kind of things. So how many monies that you can spend for your companies on this month to entertain your clients, how many months that you can actually uh, request for extension from your um, suppliers or anything, and then how many periods for any invoice kind of payment. Okay, so that is in forecasting. And finally, we have working capital management. So in the decisions to either borrow or to increase the capital to finance its investments, whether we're going to use long term or short terms, how going to use it. We're going to look at the principles of investing. So low risk, low return, high return kind of things. And we're going to see what is the DSO, HSO, and everything. I'm just giving you some acronyms so you become intrigued and start to open your lecture. All right. So that is the content in my lectures. Now, just like financial ratio, you are going to have also assessments and distributions of exam and final exams, tests and everything. So we're going to base it on our course learning outcome. There are 4, from financial analysis and planning to forecasting capital management to, this is parts by Dr. Easy later on, valuation and capital budgetings and short-term and long-term financing. So there will be 4 of it. Okay, the first one for my financial analysis and planning will be a mini assignment. Okay, don't worry, it will be a mini assignment only, or not be a very difficult one that you have to research or anything. It will be just plain calculations. Just do some calculation and then send to me. That's it. Okay, it will carry a total of 20 marks. And then there will be one final question based on this topics, which are financial analysis and plannings, that are going to carry 10 marks. In my second parts, there will be a test. Okay, there will be actually 2 mini tests because I don't want to put all into one basket. Because if let's say if you are not performing well in that basket, you're going to be in a very deep trouble. So I don't want to do that. So we're going to split it to smaller so you can get a much more better sense of it later. So better marks distribution. Again, the final will come up from this one, meaning that 2 questions in your final exam will be prepared by me. So each question will carry 10 marks in the long run times of it. 10 marks here, 10 marks here. So from me is 20 plus 10 altogether from me is 50 marks. Dr. Izzy Adiana will carry a project kind of things. I'm not sure whether she is going to do an individual project or a group projects. That will be based on her discretion later, but that also going to bring some 20 marks and then another final questions there. And finally, she will give you homeworks. Okay, don't be alarmed. The homeworks is to help you to become better in the topics. Okay, so it will carry another 10 marks and final will be 10 marks. So your final or your course carry marks, yeah, your summative marks will be 60. Okay, and your final will be only 40%. So please make sure that you score a lot in your carry marks. So in your final exam, you can just prepare just to make sure that you can get your B plus kind of things. So because it's a lots of calculation, the questions will be very strict, just like what I tell you. This slide. Okay, now that is assessment. So what major areas and opportunities in finance you can actually check from managerial finance, which are the concern or duties of the financial manager in the business firms. Financial manager, on the other hand, manage financial affair of any types of business, whether private or public, large or small, profit seeking or non-profit seeking. So it involves in developing corporate strategy and improving the firm competitive position. So you are actually considered in these parts. You are involved in the strategy of it. Whether if you are aiming to do some construction projects, is it good enough? Will you get an investment return from that kind of projects? So you are involving in the strategy for the company's financial health. Okay, now I'll go back to our previous things. So quiz and tests. So it's actually not test lah. I like to use the words quizzes. But audit purposes, we're going to just use the word quiz. So there will be 2 quiz. Okay. Quiz part A will carry 5 marks and quiz part B will carry 5 marks. I'm not saying that the quiz will happen in week 2. It's just that for the first part A for the quiz will come from week 2 punya from week 2 punya topics. Okay, that will be on business organization in Malaysia, so proprietorship company and partnerships. The date for the test we're going to discuss on it during the classes. So meaning that you're going to just check whatever times you all 6 of you are available, then we're going to do it. That's it. Because it in A, B, C, D objective kind of questions. Okay, I just want to make it easy for me and also for you. Although the questions of objective will be quite, you still have to do some calculation lah sometimes. Okay, just FYI. Similar to quiz part B, which will come from week 5, where you're going to see at the working capital management, short-term assets, short-term liabilities, and also cash conversion cycle. So there will be 2 tests that carries 10 marks all together. It looks a little bit intimidating by the use of the words of assignment, but don't worry, it's just actually you're just sending a submission to me like a homework kind of thing. There will be 4 of it, each of it will carry 5 marks, so 4 times 5 will become 20 marks. So the assignment will come from week 3 and week 4, and also week 5 and week 6. There will be the description already inside your lecture notes if you want to see about it. Although in order to do it, you need to learn it first, so you can't exactly do it. I usually just give 1 week in order to do the assignment, which is extremely generous of me, because in the previous year I actually just give them 1 day, meaning that if our class is at 10 a.m., they have to send it before 10 p.m. in the same day. Because I wanted you to be fresh when you're doing the assignment. But for you guys, I'm going to give you 1 week. Okay, so be thankful for it. So week 3 and week 4, week 5 and week. All right, this is our final topics for today. Now, in financial, you're going to go through with a lot of this lingo. Okay, there's assets, that's liabilities, that is a debt, that is a securities, bonds, and everything. So we need to know about this before we can even enter classes, because sometimes you're going to see income statement, sometimes you're going to see statement of profit and loss. It's actually the same things, although sometimes it's going to be interchangeable between my mouth lah, because I've been using a lot of lingo as well. So what I have here is 6 financial lingo. So there are capital, investment, long-term asset, short-term asset, long-term debt, short-term debts, disinvestment, and finally dividend. So what I want you to do now is to give you 5 minutes to check, to understand all this financial lingo, and then we are going to discuss it after your some research that you have been doing. So 5 minutes is too short. Now it's 11:57. I'll give you until 12:10 to go look into these 6 minutes of it. Your 12:10, 12 minutes lah. 12 minutes starting now. Done, guys? Are you okay?
Yes, Doctor.
Dah boleh ni dah? Okay. So, what is capital?
Capital in
Capital is
financing of
money.
business is basically the amount of money or financial asset that is required to produce the products or services.
Yes. So amount of money that you need before you can even starting or start your business hours. Okay, the money that you gonna have. Thank you, Aziza. Salim, you also wanna share about capital?
Yes, capital is the budget of any project uh,
Yes,
to start any activity in that project.
true, true. Okay, so it's either for a company itself or just like Salim said, maybe in terms of it, a project, a smaller things of it. Maybe it's a long terms of it when it's looking at the companies, and then you'll see it from me, smaller projects of it. All right, good job, both of you. Now we have a second one is what is the difference between investment and disinvestment? So there are two things here, investment and disinvestment. Sazat, do you have any opinions on what is investment and disinvestment?
Investment is like an asset that is required to like achieve a goal or generating income or something.
Okay, and disinvestment?
Disinvestment, it is like the evaluating a project. So whether it will be beneficial or not, after evaluating that, we will not invest for further.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Sazat. All right. Anyone else would like to add on to that? Okay.
Me.
Najiha, you sayang.
Okay. Basically, investment is gain to the company, and then this investment means withdrawal.
Yes. I think that Sazat have gone through the lengthy parts of it and Najiha have summarized it. Good job, both of you. That is what I am looking for. So investment is something that we plan to do in order to improve it and everything we plan to do. And the investment is we cannot do this. Maybe we should just bow out of it, or maybe we should plan how can we downsize and everything. So that's the reason why there's the words of this there. Means that it is a polar of it. Okay, so this is going out and this is going in back. All right, good job. All right, now we have long-term asset, short-term asset, long-term debt, and short-term debt. There's actually two types of it. What is asset, what is debt, and what is considered long-term and short-term. Okay. Azrul or Izati, do you want to try?
Okay. For long-term asset, such asset that are used for long duration. Long-term debt is debt that is payable in a time period of greater than 1 year.
Okay. That
For,
is
for that, for short-term asset, for short-term asset, term asset are those assets that are used for less than a year and generate revenue or income within 1 year period. For short-term debt is any debt that is payable within 1 year.
all right. Good job, Azrul. Okay. So when we talk about asset is what do you have? what you have inside your pockets, what you have in your whatever consider as this thing like your watch or your water bottles, all the asset, your inventories, everything that you own. Okay, and then debts is what you have to pay to people, what you borrow from people that you have to pay it back. So either in terms of cash or either in terms of barterings or anything that it's not yours, but you have to use it for your own day-to-day maybe monies or maybe some banks loans and everything is what is considered debt. So that is asset and debts. In terms of what is considered as short terms and long terms is the duration. Just like what Azrul said just now, is actually the duration is 1 year. Remember guys, when I talk about short terms or long terms, the duration is 1 year. So short terms is anything that can turn or converted or anything that can be liquidified, have to pay and everything in less than 12 months, which is 1 year. And short term or long term, long terms like asset is something that if in order for you to convert it into cash, you need 1 year to do it, like lands, houses, some or in terms of debt, if you have debt with like car loans, right? Car loans, nobody do car loans for 6 months. Usually we do it for 9 years or 7 years or 5 years. So that is considered as long term. So the duration is the difference. Now, Sati, can you tell me what is dividend?
Dividend is the distribution of corporate profits to eligible shareholders. And normally the amount of the dividends will be determined by the company or by the board of the director. And most of the time the dividend will be given in the form of cash.
Yes, that is correct. Good job, everyone. So when we talk about dividend, you're going to see a lots of dividends here because every year a company will get a profit. Okay. Hopefully we'll get a profit lah. What's the reason of if we are doing a company if we don't get a profit, right? So every day our company will strive to profit, and then that profit will pay for the salary of our workers, and then the amounts the final amounts of it, or after everything, we are going to distribute it back to the shareholders, the ones that actually give money to us during the investment process. Okay, so these shareholders will get the money, and the money is called dividend. There are common shares and also preferred shares. Okay, but that's for a different days of it. I just want you to know that when we talk about dividends, it's not only for dividends in your account, but in here we're going to look more into the shareholder kind of dividends. So that's it for our class for today. Do you guys have any questions? No. Okay, that's good. So next week we're going to start back at 10 a.m. It's just that because today will be just a very introductory kind of things. So I just want you guys to be prepared and everything. So please go through your lecture notes, and then if you have any questions and anything, be active inside your groups, WhatsApp groups and everything. That we have only 6 people. We can just be friends there. Okay, so I'll see you guys again next week at 10 a.m. Same place, not exactly this place lah. This is other people's office, but we'll see you again next time. Okay, so bye-bye.
Thank you, teacher.
Okay,
Thank you,
Thank you,
Doctor.
Doctor.
Thank you,
thank you.
Doctor. Bye bye.
Bye.